What's up, guys? Igor Hernandez here. I'm one of the attorneys at Cornish, Hernandez and Gonzalez, where I practice injury law and first-party homeowner profit claims. And today I want to talk to you about escalator accidents. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if you know what an escalator is, but there are those things that kind of look like stairs, and they're at airports, malls, etc., and they move on their own. So it's like if it was a moving staircase. And we have handled now a significant number of those escalator accidents, but the one specifically I want to talk to you about is the one that most people don't really think about when it happens to them, and that is the issue of the stopped escalator. Basically, there are times where something happens to the escalator, whether it be one of the safety plates gets triggered, or whether it be that the escalator is stopped for maintenance, or whatever the case may be, where the escalators just stopped. You know, it looks like a staircase because it's just a stopped escalator. And so what happens is, people walk on the stopped escalator and they fall, they trip, they injure themselves, and they basically just shrug it off as, oh, it must be my fault. You know, the stopped escalator, it didn't move, it didn't shake, it didn't throw me off, there was no water on the steps. And the reality of it is that it's not your fault. There are a lot of studies out there that talk about the effect that a stopped escalator has on people. And it has to do with us being used to walking or not walking or standing on stopped escalators, and the escalator is supposed to move, and in your brain you have that motion that's supposed to happen when you're walking down the stopped escalator. Your brain subconsciously triggers that motion effect. But also, the escalators themselves, they have a set of grooves, the steps, they're not flat usually. They have rivets in them. And when you look down at a stopped escalator, the rivets don't really match up, or rather they match in a way that they're supposed to go one inside the other. And when you're looking down, it's a pretty dizzying effect. You may not notice it right away, but it's very hard to tell the difference between step one and step two. And finally, the height of the steps of the escalator are not in compliance with the building codes for the actual steps of a staircase. So when we're walking down a stopped escalator, we may be thinking about subconsciously of walking down stairs, but the reality of it is that the height of the escalator steps are very different from that of a staircase, because the building code does not apply to stopped escalators. So the height of the steps will be substantially different. And to make matters worse, depending on where you are in the stopped escalator, the steps may be higher or maybe lower. If you're towards the bottom, the height of the steps starts decreasing because the steps are basically going flat. If it's towards the top, the height is going to be very, very high. So we found a lot of these now with the stopped escalator, what they call the stopped escalator effect. It's kind of uncommon for people to think about these cases, but for whatever reason, we happen to have a few of them, and we've handled a lot of them leading up to this point. And one thing to note, if you're thinking, oh man, this guy is like doing ambulance chase and stuff, there's no way that a stopped escalator is dangerous. That's just BS. Most, if not all, escalator manufacturers will admit and will tell you that walking on a stopped escalator is not recommended. In fact, a lot of the escalator manufacturers will go as far as putting a sticker on their escalator saying, do not walk on a stopped escalator because it is an increased tripping hazard. So if you don't believe me, I guess you could believe them. You could take it from the horse's mouth. They admit that a stopped escalator is a danger and that it should not be walked on. So anyway, guys, that's it for now. I'll go ahead and catch you next time.